Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Jonathan Coates, and in today's free training, I'm going to be sharing with you why and how I changed the way I use automation tools such as Jarvee and Massplanner. And the reason why I made this shift after about 4 years of exclusivity when it comes to automation tools is because of the action blocks in Facebook and other social media platforms triggering the Captcha service more often than before. And I just kept getting banned in like time blocks and action blocks. And this is after 4 years. And I've even had this up to 40 different accounts generating traffic for me. And then one would get an action block that was using a different IP than the other. So I'm going to talk about all that in this video. I actually took a 1 year hiatus after about the first 3 years just to ponder things, look at the landscape, and kind of collect some information and reevaluate how I should approach this strategy, just because of the simple fact that the algorithms are always changing and we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. But there is a wealth of information and intel out there that can actually give us a significant advantage when it comes to playing our cards right, using these automation tools and even other black hat strategies. Now, when it comes to black hat method, after using automation tools for about 4 years straight, I've come to this just the natural conclusion that it's just much better in the long term and more sustainable to use white hat methods. But I'm still kind of in the middle and sort of in a gray area when it comes to whether or not I feel comfortable using black hat methods. And I've actually even considered it and still deliberating on how I'm going to teach it in my upcoming course. So I feel like black hat is a very effective traffic strategy. And I've even grown my Instagram account, as I can show you here. So if I was just go to my business account and just show you real quick, over the years, I've rebranded this thing about 4 or 5 times. I've gotten this account up to 24,000 just using automation tools. And I would use actions such as follow likes, or follow people in my industry using certain hashtags, and then I will automatically like some of their posts like every so often, and I'll have different timers on that goes off based off of what one post would make an action. Then I will have it wait a little while before it makes another action, and that way it wouldn't trigger the action blocks. But what I used to do is I would have it posting different pictures of luxury items such as like luxurious houses, cars, and pictures of money and stuff like that. And I would have several different accounts sort of supporting this main account to also help increase the growth as well. So another way that I would use the automation tools is I would actually have every other social media platform that I had connected to it. So I would plug in my Facebook personal profile alongside with my business page. I had Twitter, Pinterest, and my LinkedIn as well. And I would take these social media platforms and I would run my automation tool and just plug in each blog post that I had on my website and just have it post like 4 to 5 times a day. And I will have it post like 3 to 4 hours in between each other. And I will have the tool doing other stuff for me, like finding new friends that's related to my industry and then sending them friend requests and then accepting new incoming friend requests. So it pretty much did almost everything for me. So I would also have it post to Facebook groups alongside with bumping posts that I already had in the Facebook group, so it would come to the top of the group so everyone would see it. And that was a very effective strategy in getting me to generate traffic to my sales funnel. But the problem that I have with this is just the constant anxiety that goes along with using black hat strategies. And so my recommendation is, and I'm just going to share with you different resources here, is just to understand and do some more thorough research first before, and always monitor the landscape. And you want to use certain services like Captcha services that can tell you when a social media platform has triggered a captcha on your account, meaning they have put up a red flag saying, hey, this account looks suspicious. If it keeps doing what it's doing, then we're going to go ahead and block that account. And so if you get a captcha, sort of like 2Captcha or a death by captcha, and I've been with these folks since 2017, and they're pretty good, but they stopped working with Facebook. So I do recommend 2Captcha because they use several different social media platforms. But basically, they're extremely dirt cheap. You can just probably pay like $5 and you'll get thousands of different captchas. But the idea here is just not use the service at all, because if you have to use the service, that means that basically you want to check this thing about 3 times a day. And if you see any captchas, that means that you want to just slow down on the automation tool and scale back the settings a little bit. So those were some of the strategies that I learned to use over the years, alongside with getting stuff like proxies. That way you're not having all dozens or hundreds or however many accounts that you have coming from one IP address. If you got proxies, you can make it come from different IP addresses, and then you can have something called rotating proxies. A lot of these terms and a lot of this information can be used in a forum that I like to frequent for the newest insight when it comes to what's going on with the algorithms, is one called mpsocial.com. Now, these guys are actually the creators of Massplanner, which is the original Jarvee, And you can actually still get access to Massplanner if you know somebody who knows somebody, but I personally would recommend it just because you can use Jarvee and it's the exact same tool. And also Massplanner, they're not trying to be in the public's eye anymore. So you kind of have to know somebody who knows somebody. It's more of a developer type, experimental type tool at this point, just because they're not able to update it as frequent as they are with Jarvee. So I do recommend Jarvee, but they do still have the same exact form and a lot of the same information in here. And you can get a lot of insight and information on what's going on with the newest settings, the newest tweaks when it comes to these automation tools, specifically Jarvee and Massplanner. Like, just for an example, if you were to click on this particular thread, now this is actually a locked thread, so you have to have VIP access with the automation tool in order to receive this. But once you get level 2, you get a lot of information, such as like the scraper accounts, like those extra accounts I was telling you about that support my main Instagram account. You get what to do when you get blocked, how to recover a blocked account, how to warm up a new fresh Instagram account or a Facebook account or Pinterest account or whichever different social media platform. And they also got stuff, these automation tools used for platforms like TikTok and LinkedIn. So you get really good information in here on what it is that you need to know as far as what people are doing and what the owners of this automation tool recommend based off of the information that they have received. And they always share that with the community. I recommend getting a VPN, such as an external computer, something that you can have on a cloud that you can run from any device. And I'm using a gaming platform called Shadow PC. It's really cheap and it's about the same price that I used to use just for a VPN back in the day. But Shadow PC works just as well as the tools that I used to use just for having like a virtual desktop. It just really works out, and it's basically a remote desktop that you can use to run from a different IP address. And that's what I recommend. Also, using these automation tools runs up a lot of RAM on your computer, so it can slow things down. So I do recommend using a VPN or a gaming PC. For that matter, that was only $27 a month, and if you get an upgrade for like an extra 250 gigabytes, they actually give you $4 extras, like $32, which is really convenient. So in regards to those proxies and having like different IP address for each account that you're using, I do recommend using a website called susocialproxy.com. And the reason why I recommend these guys, because the owner of this website is a partner with drjarvee, which is a pretty popular in the Jarvee community of authority, what you need to know right now as far as your settings. And as the name suggests, Dr. Jarvee is the doctor, and they know what they're doing. But I actually found these guys from their YouTube channel. So Dr. Jarvee is someone who I've found to be helpful over the last couple of years, just monitoring and learning about what's the latest, staying up to date in regards to what's going on as far as Jarvee. And I've had a lot of different compendiums and resources that I've gotten from her that has been really helpful as far as like tweaking and changing my settings based on the upcoming new changes they make in the algorithm, especially Instagram. So I will leave information about Dr. Jarvee in the description. And then, so that's how I found Social Proxy, because they have a partner who sells like proxies and stuff like that. And this is their particular website. They have really good prices here. And I do recommend, if you have more than a dozen different accounts, you want to start like putting your different accounts on several different proxies. So that's the Social Proxy. And another website that I recommend is Black Hat World, because they have a lot of interesting information in here. If you go to home and you click on search, you just type in something like Jarvee, and then you type that in, you normally see a lot of information. As you can see, this is pretty recent. So growth of Jarvee, Jarvee without scrapers, buying AI with writer Jarvee shared account, growing an Instagram account with Jarvee, Twitter dub versus Jarvee, best Jarvee alternative to manage 10,000 accounts. That is a lot of social media accounts. So in that case, I would definitely recommend that person to have a lot of proxies. But my personal grudge with this entire process is just the fact that it's this anxiety that just looms over me almost every single day on if any one of my accounts have gotten blocked. And if it's gotten blocked, then I got to go in and verify the email. I got to add in a phone number. I had to get stuff like an additional SIM card. So it was a lot of work, and I was always scared that I was going to lose my account, which I spent so much time growing to begin with, especially my personal Instagram account. So I just took my personal and my professional business Instagram account off of Jarvee, at least for now, just because of the simple fact that I personally don't really know too much on how to avoid the action blocks, and I want to keep my account safe because I have an Oculus headset. And I know they just updated it where you don't have to have a Facebook account attached to your Oculus headset, but I still think it's good to have some healthy skepticism there, especially if we're talking about Meta. So when it comes to Black Hat World, you can get a lot of information in here when it comes to like the latest automation advice and what people are doing as well. Black Hat World as well as MP Social. These two forums should be your go-to, and I'll have both of these in the description as far as navigating the waters of using automation tool and Black Hat. Just learning and understanding, get a stronger grip on the algorithms as you're using an automation tool for every different social media platform. So yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this video. So just to recap, in this video, I talked about why and how I've changed my approach to using Black Hat strategies and why I no longer use Jarvee and Massplanner like I used to, and how I've switched things up and how I'm going about it a little bit differently. In this video, I share with you some resources that I've gathered over the years that I found to be helpful and useful to me as far as staying safe when it comes to using automation tools, especially if you have a lot of accounts like a dozen, or like that guy said, 10,000 accounts. There's a lot of management that goes into that. You want to be able to know when the captchas are going off. So I recommend checking out 2Captcha and Death by Captcha. And you don't want all of these different counts coming from one IP address. So you can use stuff like the social proxy, or find good places on Black Hat World or even MP Social where you can find people who are selling proxies at good prices. And you can just weigh whichever one you like the best and just choose a good proxy provider for you. That way you have different IP addresses. So yeah, that'll pretty much be it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like content like this, then I highly recommend that you check out my website. You'll see it in the description, jonathancoates.net. I talk about everything when it comes to generating traffic and increasing sales. So with that said, I will see you in the next video. See you then.